What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another video. We're going to go over a simple and effective strategy on how to use Asian session liquidity to your advantage to catch sniper entries in the markets just like this. If you don't know what that means, guys, stay tuned. I'm going to dumb it down for you guys, make it super simple, and show you guys how to catch major pips with this one strategy. So leave a like, comment, and stay tuned. I got you guys. So going into the strategy, guys, basically if you don't know what an Asian session range is, it's when the Asian session will open and it'll create a low and it'll also create a high, and it's basically just the lowest and the highest point during the session price went. So what we do is I use a session indicators called Sonar Lab Sessions, where if you just type in Sonar Lab Sessions on TradingView, it'll pop up. These are all my inputs on Sonar Lab Session, guys. I'm just going to scroll through. You guys can pause the video, screenshot it, whatever you need to do. But that is my settings, and this is the style that I use. But basically, like I said, guys, it just shows you the low and the high that's created. And as smart money traders, we know the liquidity that is sitting below the lows and the highs of the session. So we're going to go into it. The one thing I want to go over that is very, very key in this strategy is the daily bias. You need the strategy to be lined up with the daily bias. If you're bullish for the day, you should be only using the strategy to take buys. For bearish for the day, you should only be taking, the setup looking for sells. So on this particular setup, let's go over why I was bearish. And go over the daily time frame and just, off the bat, guys, looking at last week, what did we do? We sold the frick off. Go to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, whatever you want to go to. All we were doing was selling. So as a supply and demand trader, the only other type of setup I'll take is this. What I was looking for, obviously, to start the night was a supply, but if we look left, there were no really valid supplies. This hourly one got taken out, and then on all the lower time frames, if we look left, just nothing was valid. And then even for current price, we created like a 5-minute supply up here, but then we already got it touched, which makes it not valid anymore. So when that happens, guys, the only other kind of scenario or entry type I'll take is an Asian session liquidity grab. So going to the higher time frames and understanding that we're bearish, all I had to do was go to lower time frame. I always will take the entry on the 5-minute, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna mark this up, set an alert, and see what happens. So what happened? Price came up, just wicked through it, and then gave us our entry type. So what is our entry type, guys? It's always gonna be on the 5-minute time frame. You can take on the 15, but you have to have a couple different confluences with it that we're gonna go over right now. So on the 5-minute time frame, guys, all you kind of need to happen is price to come up, take out the high, close back within the range, and then take out the low. This is a 2-candle sequence, but more often than not, you're going to see 3 or 4 candles being created for this type of entry, and I'm going to make it more simple for you guys in a second. So on the 5-minute, guys, you can just see that there's no really valid supplies. So what's the other scenario that we look for if we're bearish? An Asian session high liquidity grab. So you can see price just channeled up, had a nice just liquidity grab, wake up, close back in, and then we execute at the lows. Usually it doesn't always happen in 2 candles. It'll usually be 3 to 4. I'm going to go over what to look for when that happens. Basically, guys, all you have to look for is just price not to be closing too far above the zone. If price is just super bullish and is closing way above the zone, and it's just and the next candle is closing and it's moving up like this, that's just showing you that price is bullish. I'm saying what you really want is price to just liquidate, manipulate, and then distribute in the other direction. So it won't always happen with 2 candles. If it's going to be 3 candles, this is what you want to happen. You want price to come up, kind of close, and they can close above. That's another thing, guys. We can close above the Asian high. All you need to happen is that next candle to kind of be sort of an indecision candle like that, and the third candle to be moving back into the zone, and that's how you can take the trade. Don't take it if we're, once again, closing way above and you're trying to sell back into the zone. What that usually will look like is, if price is just, like that, bullish like this, and then continuing. If at this point price is moving bullish and you're trying to sell from up here, what usually could be happening is price is just selling back down to retest the breakout for a break and retest to then actually continue. The only scenario that, in my opinion, that's valid for me is when we get the close, one indecision candle, and then we take the sells back into the range. And once again, if you don't really understand the reasoning behind it, guys, as a smart money trader, we're looking for where the dumb money's sitting, where's the liquidity sitting, so we can aim for those areas to go and basically take the liquidity and then distribute in the other direction. You guys keep hearing me use that word distribute, because if you haven't heard this before, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. And basically price will accumulate, it'll manipulate in one direction and then distribute in the other direction. It's gaining orders, gaining liquidity, gaining whatever you want to call it in your own strategy to then drive price in the other direction with the daily bias. So like I said, this was basically accumulating orders, or in this whole area was accumulating orders. This was the manipulation, manipulating highs for people to buy above with their stop loss below here and trying to continue to buy, you know what I'm saying? But we know on the daily time frame that we're bearish, so we're taking those sells all freaking day. Even if you were to take the buys down here, guys, your stops are still going to be below this intermediate low, trying to take the trade up, and then just immediate freaking turn around to then go the the direction. So from our side, all you're literally like I said looking for is the 5 minute to go, print an entry, and you take out the lows to take it back down. And then where do you want to aim, guys? You can aim for 1-to-1, whatever, but truthfully, when it comes to this setup, you want reasoning and what's like the smartest place you think price can go to. The smartest place for me is wherever the recent low is, because that's most likely where the most not recent, but the closest stop losses are. This, in my opinion, is where the most close orders are sitting. So this move was to come, take out this lows, take orders, and then I think we're just going to retrace up into the supply to then continue the move down. Because once again, if you go to a higher time frame, you could see that we're kind of topping out in this position. We took out this high, took the Asian liquidity, closed, we broke structure to the downside. So this could be a change of character to come up, make a lower high, and then continue. I don't think it's to make a higher high. We created a higher high, but then we made a lower low, and now I think it's time for a lower high to continue down, and then just keep freaking going. And at the end of the day, guys, the risk to reward with these setups are really key, because just at the Asian lows, which right here is a 1 to 7.4, and then these lows right here is basically a 1 to 8. So 1 to 8 risk to reward setup, guys. You guys can literally lose 8 Asian session liquidity trade and then catch that last one to make up for all of them. But like I said, this has a high strike rate. If you go back test this strategy, more often than not, you're at least going to hit TP1, TP2 on these trades. When price comes up, prints you a beautiful little Asian high or Asian low entry, and you take it. Once again, TP1, TP2, most of the time, really easy to hit. So think about this vice versa, guys. If we were to take buys, let's say we're bullish for the day, and price kind of came down to the lows, because as you can see, this is the box where the lows are. You literally would just want price to kind of come down, channel, get a quick little closeout, and you take out the lows to come and drive price back up. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing, but just flipped. So I hope this is a good strategy, guys. It's really simple. I could go into more detail, but really it's about looking for where liquidity is sitting, if it's getting taken out, and then where is volume going to drive next. On the 15-minute, why this kind of makes sense is that when you have 4 or 5 candles on the 5-minute that all kind of were just indecision candles all closing, on the 15-minute, it'll look like a 5-minute setup, which is the 3 candle sequence. So like I said, you really want to take it if it has 2 to 3 candles. A fourth is okay, but once it gets to 5, 6 candles closing way above the Asian highs, that's when you don't want it. That doesn't really make it as valid. It makes it valid if we really just wick it or with the daily bias, and you really just take out the lows and hold to the Asian lows. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna hold all the way to these Asian lows, try to hold for the 1 to 8, 1 to 7.4, but we'll see obviously what happens. Just messed that up. But like I said, guys, this can be a simple strategy if you can get the hang of it and be able to identify a high probability Asian high or low grab setup versus a low probability Asian high low to grab setup. So hope this makes sense. Leave a comment if you like this strategy. Comment if you learned something new today. Love you guys. You guys are the best. Love you all. See you on the next video. Peace.